Hi, this is a brief overview and kind of a proof of concept video of how to control your Chase Bliss CXM1978 with an iPad and why you should be doing it if you're recording. The only thing that I can think of that the CXM needs is a true MIDI output rather than a MIDI through. With a MIDI through, you're unable to send and write MIDI data while making changes to the CXM. However, with this little app I found called Sonic Logic, I've written a bit of a template which will be available in the description for you to control all aspects of the CXM. And I'm looking at a way to write it as a VST or audio unit. So, besides the sound, the coolest thing about the CXM is the ability to dynamically control and alter the sound of the instead of menu diving like I have to do with my TC Electronic M2000. If I wanted to change my decay time on the fly, I'd either have to do it from within my DAW or map a MIDI unit or MIDI controller, or write it like this. So I'd sit down and increase my decay with a knob. Don't even get me started on how tricky it is to do with my Lexicon MPX1, PCM70. It's tricky. So with this, it makes it really easy. What's neat about this is that it operates outside the confines of my DAW. So what do I mean by that? Well, I don't have it running through Studio One, which is what we're using here. I use Pro Tools to record and edit and Studio One to mix. But if I want to set up a rough mix or an overview mix of how things are going to be sounding for the artist, I have to do it in Pro Tools. Well, instead of mapping it inside of Studio One, I'm running it through Audio MIDI setup. So here I have my Chase Bliss right here, and it's running to its own MIDI network essentially off of an old MIDI Sport, but you can use any MIDI controller that you want or MIDI interface that you want. So regardless of what program you're using, this works. I've tested it in Pro Tools, it works fine. I'll be running a few tests in Logic and hopefully Digital Performer soon if anyone cares. So in Studio One, I've set up all of my MIDI controls to mimic my Chase Bliss controls with all the correct parameters. So I have, oops, I want to get back here quick. I have bass, mids, crossover point. So when I click and drag my crossover point, it controls it here too. Well, that's all well and good, but what if I want to do 4 or 5 at a time? The reason I would want to do that is because depending on what arcade buttons you've pressed, and just in general, you changing your bass on the Chase Bliss will be different if the crossover point is here. The sound will be different as if you have your crossover point here, or if it's set here. So if you want to bring up more bass but different frequencies, you would have to somehow write your bass here and then change your crossover point dynamically without actually knowing what it sounds like. With Sonic Logic, I can do all of that at once. In fact, I can do all 6 of them at once. I'm not pressing it. There we go. If I wanted to, in different orders, it's all very smooth. So, I'll show you what it sounds like, and the functionality of it. So, here I have all my MIDI parameters set up. I'm record enabled. My automation's record enabled. And I'm going to be using a sample of, it's called Jake Reed's Super Dead Drums. Really great, dry drum sound. First thing I'm going to do is bring up my mix. Turn it down a bit. And I'm going to start going. So obviously this isn't like a demonstration meant to sound good. This is a demonstration meant to show you how it works. So what it sounds like then is this. During the first part of the demonstration, when I was writing automation, I was talking, so it takes a second, but here it comes. So that's what I wrote in real time. So if you'd like to download this script, it's available at my Google Drive with the link in the description. Otherwise, have a great day.